folks, and welcome to another Saturday morning Samoflange. I'm Matt.
I'm Benjamin.
Hey!
And we're doing this again because we've played more time stories again.
Play more time stories. Now, got a twofer in a way because we played the prequel.
The
prequel.
The only expansion that has a prequel.
The only expansion that has a prequel, and it was the demo pack that they gave at Santo Tomas de Aquino. Aquino. And this was the back, and we talked about this in our last podcast where I assumed Estella Drive was their, kind of a
trying
soft
to pull in
reset,
another market,
pull in new market.
Yes.
Well, what they're having problems with is you can't demo this game. It's a 6-hour game.
Yeah, you can't sit at Gen Con and play this. So you can't walk past and say, "Oh, what's that?"
And here, play it for 6 hours and find out.
Now you've missed the con,
or a few hours and spoil some of the game for you.
That's a good point.
So they came out with a deck of cards which plays on their base game.
It is just slightly bigger than just a deck of cards.
Too. And it's a demo that they used to give out during. Not give out. They used to do during shows.
Sure.
Board game shows, and it's a 30-minute game, roughly 30 to 45-minute game, I'd say. And we played it. Now, this
one does say on the back 60 minutes per session. And I remembered looking at the box the last podcast we recorded, and I didn't mention it, but I wanted to say, well, that's a joke, because all of them say 90 minutes per session on the back.
No, that's a real big lie.
So that's something that we should have probably said a long time ago when we started reviewing these.
Lies.
None of these will take you an hour and a half, and if they do, you're playing by yourself and you're just blasting through
it. You're doing great.
You're doing great, Bob.
You're doing great.
Doing great.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Now, I primed everyone and told everyone what this was before we started so people wouldn't get disappointed. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not disappointed by this mini adventure. I had fun, and it is short. Now, because it gives you everything you need, right? Your not your insta-fail, but your failed, a way to
mission
fail
cards, mission succeed cards, yes.
Mission succeed. You've got but this is not spoilers either for this. It's got a twist. It's got red herrings. It's got new locations.
Yeah.
It's got everything that you'll find
at least
in a
once.
regular least once in a regular game of time stories. And we started laughing. Even has a threat.
You're right.
So. And we were laughing at, oh, this is the red herring. Oh, this is the blank. Oh, this is the do you trust me? Mm-hmm. But the thing is, though, I think it's perfect to get someone into time stories.
100% agree with you. And you said this was very hard to find, right?
It's impossible to find now. That I paid more for that pack of cards than I paid for anything else.
That is amazing. And this was sealed, shut.
Sealed.
This was
it had never been open. It was an English version too, which was harder for me to find.
Interesting.
But we had to have it because I wanted to play it, and I'm glad we got it because, to be honest, if I was to bring this to someone and they didn't have much time, I wouldn't have any problem breaking out that little game and showing you. Now, it's a prequel only because and it has nothing to do with the next Brotherhood of the Coast, what we're about to talk about here.
It does.
It does a little bit. Right?
It has a prequel tone to it.
But you're not missing anything by not playing this.
Same as Star Wars. Like, you're not really missing a whole lot by watching the prequels.
Yeah,
you're not.
I wouldn't say it's like that.
Well, you're not missing a whole lot by not watching episode 1.
I would say this. It's one of those deleted scenes that doesn't matter to the story.
Yeah.
You may want to watch it because it's neat.
It gives an extra, there's the thing.
It gives you an extra layer, but nothing too big. There was something really funny because a character from there who drives you absolutely friggin' nuts is someone you can add to your crew.
And that is what,
next game,
and that's what I like.
And that was the funny.
That was what I liked.
The funny connection between the two.
I did.
You don't need that.
No, and I watched something just today, which was The Movies That Made Us, Season 2. You've seen that show before.
Yes.
And I watched the Jurassic Park episode. They have a new narrator, thank goodness, because I hated the narrator from the Movies That Made Us at first, but. And I found out that with Jurassic Park, the line where they're driving into Jurassic Park the very first time, and Ian Malcolm looks up and he's like, "What do they got in there? Kong?" That was added in to the script because they had designed the gate to Jurassic Park to be this big Disney World like thing,
right.
And then Spielberg was like, no, I want like a King Kong 1933
that's
gate,
exactly what,
and he said, and put some fire on the top and like make it really tall, and then he saw the first draft. It's like, here's what we got for the Jurassic Park. He said, that's great, go build it, and that was it. And then that was why they threw the line and said, what do they got in there? Kong? Is because that was what Spielberg wanted.
That's great.
And stuff like that, it just makes that line a little bit more
and that's
fun.
What this is. It's a little behind the scenes.
That's what this is.
But you don't have to track it down, is what I'm saying. However, I'm glad, because if I did need to show this to someone and they didn't have 6 hours or whatever, I could give them the base idea of what Time Stories is all about, and this is it. And I'll be honest, and we laughed about this, I think, last week. This is the only time Bob's actually nice to you. I think it was.
Is it?
Because remember, he gives a okay. So because remember, you're rookies. You're rookies in this thing, and it's okay. Let's go back. Let's try it out. You learned your lesson. Let's go back. And then afterwards, like, congratulations, and he's all like happy and everything. You're like, well, that's what's going on here. But it was nice, Bob.
He's just tripping you up for the real
free,
mission.
Bob, you know.
The first one's free, Bob.
Yeah, that's who he is. He's like,
man.
Sign here. Okay.
Yeah, now sign here, and let's get to work.
Yeah.
Guppies.
But it's the only time we see nice Bob.
You're right.
Because there's a little celebration going on.
I remember now. I had forgotten that part. Truthfully, the celebration, did you just hit
No!
Did you have a plot point that just hit you? That was a connecting? Did you just...
We're not spoiling anything, but at the base, what is
Yeah, I remember.
Holy cow.
It just saw the connection there, huh?
Do you think that's what it is?
It has to be. It has to be.
Up. These came out at the same time.
Did they really? Well, here's the thing.
Yes, because that was the sequel.
Well, look,
the prequel to promote this new
exactly.
game.
And
in fact, there's an advertisement.
So I'm so happy that moment just happened, because what you just heard, podcast listeners, is exactly how this game goes.
That is hilarious.
That's how this game
exactly
goes.
What
you will be mid-sentence, and then someone will have a sharp intake of breath, and then you will connect the dots, and it happens over and over and over again.
We didn't connect it because we were just like, what is that?
What's
is
that?
That's
and then
we
so
moved
different.
on with the story.
No, you're right. And I remember I was reading the cards, the setup scenario.
And he just kind of, he says next door.
And it's just thrown in. Yep.
Shut
it's just thrown
up.
in.
I bet they did.
This one has a little bit more depth than perhaps we were alluding to at the beginning. But one thing I wanted to mention...
There's 2 inside jokes. You'll blink
at
and
least
miss.
2. We've probably not even thought of a third one yet.
Oh, that's funny.
But what's great is that all of this was created, this Time Stories in general was created by Manuel Rozoy, or I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But I looked at the back of the small deck, the Santo Tomas deck, expansion or prequel, and it is written. The scenario is credited to Ulrich Mays, it looks like, and then Alrik Sentink and Pascal Kidal.
Okay.
And Manuel Rozoy was not a part of the scenario of this one, but he was a part of the Brotherhood of the Coast, along with Ulrich Mays.
Yeah, he's kind of has his hand in all.
He's had his hand in all of them, but not this one.
But the promo was probably something they just did for shows, and they went off just what they could.
But you would just figure the guy who made it would have a hand in it, but apparently not.
Well, if it was something just for shows, he probably didn't care what they did. Just something small.
And this was after 6 or 7 already that they have done.
Yeah.
And put out. So anyway,
this was a good idea. I'm glad we got to play it.
No, and I totally agree with you. It has a great fun vibe to it. It was over and done, and I felt good with how it ended.
Which is the smallest.
It was like
items.
6 items, nothing to it, but it had every key element that we come to expect.
So you could get a flavor.
It had humor and like, oh no, you shouldn't do that, and you messed up here, and you shouldn't have done that.
Too, because you're thinking, why did we do that? Because they gave us the option,
because
and we were dumb enough
because
to
we
do
did it, and of course. And I think they just want you to see, you shouldn't do everything that you have available to you because it could mess you up. Now, and so anyway.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, it's fun.
I liked it. It's totally worth it. Absolutely worth it. I didn't think it was... this was a prequel that is worth playing, if you have the option and if someone has it, don't skip it.
No.
Like if you're getting these games for yourself, don't skip it. If you can find it, then please.
It will be the lightest. It will be the lightest that you get. However, it's
and
fun.
If you need to introduce new people, like you need to convince your gaming group.
Yes.
We need one more person to play this. Then let me just show you.
Let me just show you how
and
it
if they're like you, where they're like anti-legacy game, and you're like, I'm not playing that.
No, that's true. That's true.
Because this may have convinced you.
That's true.
If I had been running these,
I would be more susceptible to play that
than
I would the base game.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
And what do you think about if someone who has never played Time Stories, who maybe has listened to these podcasts and is still on the fence?
Well, the thing is, I can't promote that because it costs way too much.
That's a good point.
I mean, you can buy
all things being
really
equal.
Nice board game for the price of that.
That's true. All things being equal, let's say this just came out and the price was not a factor.
Would
you start with this?
Would I start with that?
Over the Asylum story.
Maybe I would.
Maybe.
Only because Asylum
it's
is
quick
pretty
and
dang hard.
It is pretty hard. Yeah.
It's pretty dang hard.
And it can be intimidating or off-putting, I should say.
I should mention one of the listeners played the bass and just thought it was really hard. Listening to ours, he sounds like he was glad to hear that they were different because he thought, like we did, they were all the same and at that complexity.
Had only played the bass.
Didn't
want to play the expansions because they were tough.
Enjoyed it, but said, "Dang, that
yeah.
last puzzle was hard." I said, "Dude, we spent over an hour." He said, "Yeah, but he said he thought that was what every experience was going to be." He's like, "So,"
and we kind of did.
I
too.
didn't want that. We did, but and then he said, listening to us, he found out it wasn't.
I'm glad.
And so now he's more because I actually talked to him today.
Oh, good.
But anyway. Brotherhood of the Coast is the next one. It takes place in 1685 NT. It is a pirate adventure. It is another open world. Again, we're not spoiling anything here. No spoilers, because this is when you open up. There are different packs to different islands that you'll be sailing to. You can sail anywhere you want. You can start anywhere you want.
Which is a new mechanic.
Yes, a new mechanic. And it's open world, like you're sailing the seas. Now, there are these at-sea cards that are 100% bad.
This prequel was a localized adventure, wasn't it? It was only in that one place.
Only on it. Well, I think it's not spoilers to say it happens on a ship.
Yeah, happens on a ship.
So, yeah, it's that one
in the same year, area. Right? 1685?
Yeah, no, same year, because,
we think.
I don't
1686.
This isn't spoiling it.
No, it is 1685.
But this is where you get the cash-ins that you use for Brotherhood of the Coast.
And this is where you get your characters unlocked per se.
And the characters aren't told to you in the promo either.
No, nothing like that.
But that's what we're doing.
But it's right here on the back of the box. Your mission is to free the receptacles of 1685 Brotherhood of the Coast. So it tells you right away that it's connected. But
yeah. So Brotherhood of the Coast is like Prophecy of Dragons. It's that open world. Go anywhere, start anywhere, do anything. There is an economy. It's
and now that I said new mechanic a second ago, but now that you mention it, that this one is the only other one that even had that feel to it, though, because in the Prophecy of Dragons we had the what do you call them? Random encounters that we never happened because we ended up having the best ending possible, and we killed it by avoiding them somehow in every way. Luck. Pure luck, a lot of it.
It's 100% luck.
And these have a similar mechanic, but it's unavoidable. Like, you have to draw the cards if you sail from A to B. Because before we were running from something or we were rolling. If you roll a this or that,
you had a 1 in 3 shot to avoid.
So I wonder if more than we just totally avoided that whole part of the game, and they're like, you know what? Too many people are skipping this entirely.
So we need to force it on people.
So let's force it.
That's a good idea. So this is maybe a rebrand of the open world.
This challenges you because the Prophecy of Dragons was like, well, we should go back to that place and get this thing and collect that dealio so that we can have the MacGuffin to go to the X.
Actually, this is very similar to Prophecy of Dragons because the end is a big heavy challenge.
This also, though, forces you to choose. Are we really, really done with this island? Because we have to go to sea, and we are going to have to draw a card. in the pirate-infested waters.
Yeah, that's true too. And you're
going to have some kind of damage taken to you in some form or another.
And you will be going back. You will have to go back to that island, and you will have to go back to this and back to that.
But you want to not have to go back.
You don't want to. You want to save your trips, because that's right. Pulling that car is not nice.
So that's the extra mechanic, though, is that it really... Oh, no, it puts more of an emphasis on where you go next.
Yeah.
Your decision-making for what's next.
Now, this one is similar to Prophecy of Dragons in that you can take different paths to the same direction.
Yes.
But you can take different paths to it. And so one of the things, and this game is so good at this.
Time stories in general.
Time stories in general. Not only are there red herrings, but there are just, it's the human interest in the unknown, our curiosity.
Yep. Use it against us.
And I'm telling you, this guy knows psychology or has someone looking at it.
Yep.
Because they know what to say to tease you.
Yep.
To tease you to think you're missing out on this if you don't do that. But then, how many times where it was nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Useless.
Or
worse than useless.
Minor.
Or something horrible.
We got plenty of
minor things.
We're
like, oh, this is it. We got it.
We got the red herring,
man.
And like, oh, that wasn't as good as it was built up to be.
It was just a thing, and we just spent all this time to get it.
But they know that it's hard for you to say no. Now, this is another one. This is the second best run we did on this one. We only achieved a top score on Prophecy of Dragons prior to this. And we barely achieved it. And I will be honest, at the very end, folks, there was complete... I mean, we just happened to have the right this, the right that, and we used some...
goodies.
Some goodies that we had. Yeah, some goodies that we had because...
We had some aces in the hole.
We did. We had some legal...
That we burned.
Some legal cheats.
Yes.
That we had to burn.
Legal cheats. What a great way of putting it.
It was legal cheats that we had to burn, and I don't regret it because it was still amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of it, it's all said and done, to me, this is another great one. If you love pirates... and you want to be a pirate.
Specifically.
Yeah.
If you love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh, yeah. This is
or
what it is.
just the first one.
Well, you were telling about this because a lot of the islands
this is exactly
and everything are just basically Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
The Time Stories adventure.
Here's what I was going to recommend to people who, if you're playing through all of the Time Stories adventures and you come upon this one, take the time to pause, watch the movie, just the first one. Maybe the second one. Like, the rest of them are forgettable. The first one is a great movie. The rest of them are forgettable, but you should do yourself a favor. No, I mean it. I'm serious. I knew that this was a pirate's adventure. I wish I had sat down and watched the movie before we played it.
Really? Because just like the fourth movie, I think, I just stood up and went, did everyone see that? I will not do that again. We will not be doing that again.
Yeah.
It was one of those amazing...
Have they made 4 of them? 5 of them?
They've made 6 of them. I don't know how many. I think they're
still going.
5.
They're making another one now.
Yeah.
Without Johnny Depp, apparently.
But there was only one funny line, I think, in the 4th one, and that was when he just shot himself out of that lighthouse as it exploded. He goes, did everyone see that? Because I will not be doing that again. Because it was just lucky he fell into the water instead of the rocks.
That's the kind of thing that makes me wonder, like, was that added in, like the way Jeff Goldblum's line was added in? It's like, because Johnny Depp maybe stood up one day on set and was like, I'm not doing that again.
There is another funny scene in it, and that was improv.
Really?
Johnny Depp running through the grass blades, tripped and fell.
Uh-oh.
Got up and attacked. He hacks the grass with his sword.
That was him in character.
And runs off. And we were laughing, and I told Megan, I said, I bet that's a blooper that they just left in the movie.
Yeah.
Sure enough,
it
was a blooper.
Wow.
It turned out to be a blooper, and the whole cast, they had to mute out the whole cast laughing.
From laughing, yeah.
Because you could hear him in the
background.
He
was in character, though. He's like, I hate this grass.
Yeah. And he starts chopping at the tall grass as he runs away.
So, yes, do yourself a favor before playing this, if you are playing through them. Even if you haven't played any Time Stories, and this is one of the ones that you go for, watch Pirates of the Caribbean first, and just enjoy it for the good movie that it is, and then realize that there are a lot of things you can glean from the story. Because often in Time Stories, and often almost all of them, the clues as to where to go next and what to do next can be very subtle and usually don't stand out until after the adventure's over.
No.
And then you realize, oh, that, or even halfway through, you're like, oh, we should have gone to that stupid place first and then gone there. And this one being an open adventure, it's even more enhanced in that decision-making process.
Correct.
So watch the movie first. That's the only spoiler I'm going to give you.
I should mention this. This one, I talked about how Estella Drive kind of takes a step away from the overall story arc. It's the X-Files Acid Rain episode that just aggravates you in a way. If you're looking at the meta,
if you're
story,
looking at the story
if you're just
overall,
looking at the meta story overall, not the actual individual story.
Aliens exist. Here we are chasing acid rain.
Here we are chasing acid rain. This one returns you back to an open world format, which I think is fun.
True.
But also sprinkles in enough of the meta story to where if you don't understand it, it doesn't bother you. Mm-hmm. It doesn't bother you, but it feeds your soul if you're looking for more meta story that you haven't gotten since Luma Fidei.
Correct.
And by the way, they dropped a pound of bricks on you in Lumen Fidei.
And it's like, worth going through that pound of bricks and digging into it before this one. It is worth taking the time.
Yeah, because when you're coming through here, you're finding out a little bit more. Now
it really adds so much to it though, and more than like the prequel, the little card pack adds a different like flavor almost to it. But and the lore of the whole thing is sprinkled through this Brotherhood of the Coast one, and it's just a different flavor. It's
that's true
the difference
too.
between chocolate and vanilla. It really is, but it's really an extra flavor.
It's also one of the things that when you're I do love this. After we play through it, then I'll watch reviews. Then I'll see what other people are saying about it and everything. And some people are saying it's unfair because it has your head spinning around with so many options.
So many things.
That you're like, I don't know where to go first.
Yep.
Or now that I know the islands, I still don't know where to go first. And I was like, that's funny because we had a directional compass issue too where we debated. Because I remember when we started our second run, I said, okay, we'll start here. And you say, whoa, why don't we start here? I said, why would we start there? We got to go here to here to here. You went, but wouldn't it be nice if we had this first? I was like, yeah, you're right. It would be nice. Well, maybe we should start there. But the thing is, though, there was like a billion different ways.
And Prophecy of Dragons, I feel like if we had not been so lucky and had to restart Prophecy of Dragons, we would have had that same conversation.
We would have had the same conversation. And the thing is, though, knowing what we found out in Prophecy of Dragons, if we would have had to restart, that would have been the only time before any other one that we've done before. It'd have been the only time that we would have actively and all willingly switched characters, I bet. Just because we saw what was happening.
Right.
After our first run, we saw what was happening.
Yep.
I guarantee you, I would have switched. I love my character, but I would have switched.
Well, there came a point in the story where at the end of Prophecy of Dragons, we were like, should we switch characters? And then we had to go back and like read the rules, or we had to double check something. I'm not going to give a spoiler to it, but it's just like that question came up and we had to make sure that we were doing the right thing.
Well, it's funny
because it was so complicated.
Our characters,
it became very complicated all of a sudden. That's what the beauty of this game is. It's like it leads you by the nose into something, and then you realize, oh no, we've got to deal with this now, and we had no idea we were walking into this. And then it twists it on you after they know they've got you.
This one, again, I don't believe I'm giving away a spoiler here, but it's a little bit of a deck builder in a way too. In a way, as you're trying to build it. I mean, we're always trying to get all the items and stuff like that, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's a little bit more
like that. It has much more emphasis on that, which
does.
is also a part of the reason I suggest watching the Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah, because you were making analogies.
I was like, oh, this is the moment when this happened in the movie, and which is interesting.
And some of the names, too, I believe, right?
Yeah, because
you recognize.
I was like, oh, that's the guy from, and which is funny because we were just talking about that with Estella Drive, because that was the one all the girls who watch the ID channel all day long
would love that.
They know that whole mystery, all the backwards and forwards, and I guess I've seen Pirates of the Caribbean too many times because I knew a lot of this one.
No, but it's.
But even still, even if you had that movie memorized, this is still not even close to the same as Estella Drive is.
No,
not to that level of detail at all. It's just heavily influenced by Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not at all more detailed and as exact.
And I'm thinking something else. there's a compass on the cover.
Yeah.
Did we get that compass?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. There's just so much.
I hate this compass. Hate it. I recognize it.
Okay. Yes, I do know.
Yeah.
Yes, I do know. Okay.
You heard my angst, and you're like, oh, yeah.
But I love how all the, we've talked about this, how all the items featured doesn't mean it's the most important item here. It's just an item in the deck. Yeah. It's not.
It's like, and every time we look at it, and we look at the deck, and we're like, oh, look, maybe this is important. And I've been fooled every time. Cover, I mean, it's just a cover item.
It can be, it's a cover item.
And
they
watch.
Just picked one.
We're going to,
good on them.
We're going to finish Madame. We're going to finish the last one, and then we're going to realize that the cover item is the most important thing in the world. I know, right? What's the cover to Madame? Is like some perfume?
I don't
know. What are you finding? Are you seeing a clue together?
What does that look like?
Oh man. So,
I mean,
maybe. So
I don't know.
You're right. Maybe
it is. I don't know.
For crying out loud! Here it comes. So the connections just keep rolling in.
The connections just keep rolling in. But the cool thing is, second to Brotherhood of the Coast, this is another one of those open world ones I think you'd like if you'd like the pirate thing game. And again, they've taken us to so many different eras. Each one takes you to a different genre, like a different era, a different genre.
But nothing tired, though.
Yeah, this is a far cry from Prophecy of Dragons.
Big time.
This is a far cry from the Marcy case.
Big time.
Which are different. All these, not just different eras, same goal. There's different mechanisms involved,
right?
And the theming is just great. Some people don't like Under the Mask because they don't like the Egyptian theme, and then I saw some reviews like, oh, I love Ancient Egypt. This was great because the theme, where they were,
right? And
that does make a difference. But people love pirates. Pirates is a.
I mean. We talked about this briefly in a different episode, maybe the last one, where we said it's things that are themes that you've seen in movies and read in books before, but it's not the same old thing.
No.
No. I forget how we phrased it last time, but no.
We're not trying to go back to World War II
yeah,
and
that's
stop
what it was.
Hitler.
Yeah.
This
is just set in the golden age of piracy, is it?
Yes.
The other one is just set in the age of ancient Egypt that we really don't know anything about. I mean, that was 6,000 some years ago
We're
or
not
something.
Custard during his last stand.
I mean,
we're not, significant moments in history,
right.
in our history, is not.
It's just a theme.
Yeah, we're not going back to see all.
So what was the complaint with the Egypt?
Well, no, just the theme itself.
Just they didn't like the theme.
Egyptian theme, or the whatever thing. I don't like the Marcy case theme. I don't like this type of. Okay, that's fine. And that's fine. That's fair. But the thing is that they have themes for everyone.
That's interesting, and this is the point that I would make from that is that of this Brotherhood of the Coast and of the what was the Egyptian one called?
Under the Mask.
Under the Mask. For those two, because we talked about how much of an impossible task it would be to rank these in order.
I still can't figure it out.
It would be like, I still feel that they are batting 1,000. Unbelievably.
I do.
I have enjoyed every single one of these. Unbelievably.
If we did rank them, I would feel bad for the ones lower because I love them.
It would be unfair.
It would not mean that I don't love them any less. You know what I'm saying?
If I were forced to do so, I would rank the Mask and the Brotherhood of the Coast near the bottom. Here's the reason why. Most of them, I take it back, all of them introduce new mechanics, new gameplay, new things that twist you around in different ways. And I've always commended every expansion because it introduces a new thing that you never would have expected, but does it in such a simplistic way that it's not hard to grasp. And you can follow it easily enough, and it fits into the story easy enough. And I'm amazed at how well the hand fits the glove with all of the twists that they do. These two were probably the most complicated of the technique or the methods that got introduced. And it took, I think, 3/4 of the game for me to finally wrap my head around it, and then it ended. And I was really kind of bothered by that.
I would say that with Under the Mask, but at the same time, it got me. It got me.
It got me. And it got me. This one got me. No, that's what I'm saying. It's unfair to rank them and put them at the bottom.
I think one of the biggest surprises we ever got was Under the Mask.
Oh, really?
That was the
that was the
big one that we just all jumped up, freaked out.
That was the first time that we ran around the room.
That was the big one.
And
the thing is
priceless.
The thing is though, I can't fault them because there are things I didn't like about that one. And in the end, they said, "Yeah, we know you're probably not wild about this, but you know what? Here's something that you didn't know.
Yeah,
we knew you.
Here you go.
Here's something else to show you because they knew it was going to come out of their heads.
That's unbelievable.
What were they thinking? They're not thinking. They've lost their way, and then they show you. I just wanted to hear you say that. So here we go.
You know, we were talking just between the two of us just before we hit record about work and how there's certain work decisions in corporate America, at least, that you just wonder. Because with a movie, the example I brought up is that when they screen a movie for test audiences, they finish the rough draft of the movie, they're going to test it to these audiences and see what they like and what they didn't like. And, you know, producers handle that crap where they have to do the dial-o-meter, like how excited are you about the movie and everything, and they typically hate doing it. But they change the movie sometimes based on test audience responses. And I feel like that I may be totally wrong, but the feeling that Time Stories has is that they did test audiences before, they do test audiences during, they do test audiences afterward, and they all seem to have a PhD in psychology.
Yes.
And I hate them for it. And I love them for it at the same time. And so these just feel extensively play tested and reviewed and revised, and they're masterful in their storytelling.
And I attribute to, I'm positive the creators, the teams watched people play these.
You think?
They've had to have. To guess how well, or you're right, maybe they play tested the hell out of them and said, you know what, this is what we're seeing.
Let's flip this around.
So let's flip this. Let's do this. Let's flip this.
And then they would have had to have asked like questionnaires, like, so what are you expecting from this game? What are you expecting from
who
this
out
adventure?
There sat in a white room and answered all Space Cowboys questions? That's what I want to know.
The internet at large, probably.
That's true, too, because they could go on there and check and see, too, and watch playthroughs online and see what people's reactions.
Goodness gracious.
And just, take notes.
And people are so desperate to be on YouTube that they will upload all that feedback for free to Space Cowboys. And if they were smart, then they looked at it.
So, again, the game, you don't play the game.
No.
The game plays you.
It's still playing us every Saturday.
Morning.
Samoflange.